everyone. It's poll winner day today. And, well, as many of you know who have voted on Patreon, it's a tie again. So, what to do? Well, I guess it was a month or two ago now when we had a tie and I learned how to flip a coin on camera. I haven't flipped a coin since, but today is the day. We'll see how my memory skills hold. So, the options are Jim Croce, Time in a Bottle from 1972, and then The Byrds, Turn, Turn, Turn. Well, I have heard one of the Byrds' pieces by now, and I'm sure I will be, even if it's not today, maybe it will be today, but if it's not, I will be returning to them because I enjoyed them. I have never heard Jim Croce. In fact, I had to just look up how to pronounce his last name because I didn't know if it was Jim Croce, Jim Croce. Apparently, it's Jim Croce. So, at least that's what Google told me. I have here the Romanian coin, and one side is 50. Let's make sure it's right side up. I don't know if the camera can see that, but that's 50. The other side says Romania. I have decided that 50 is going to be the Jim Croce side, and the Romania side is going to be the Byrds side. So, how did I do this? I guess something like that. Are we ready? Okay, where did it land?
Of course.
It landed on 50. And let me hand it to Vlad so he can make it focus.
I don't know if I make that. Come on. Yeah, there.
Okay. So, let's see. I said 50 was Jim Croce. It's a Jim Croce day. Jim Croce for the first time for me. And, well, I didn't say before, but thank you to everyone who voted both for Jim Croce and for the Byrds. Those of you who lost the coin flip, I'm sorry, but I'm sure that the Byrds will return to my listening list in the future. So don't despair. Jim Croce, Time in a Bottle. What an interesting title. It automatically makes me think of, message in a bottle. Time in a bottle? Nice idea. James Joseph Croce was an American folk and rock singer-songwriter. Between 1966 and 1973, he released 5 studio albums and numerous singles. During this period, Croce took a series of odd jobs to pay bills while he continued to write, record, and perform concerts. After forming a partnership with the songwriter and guitarist Murray Mulhausen in the early 1970s, Croce's fortunes turned. His breakthrough came in 1972 when his third album, You Don't Mess Around with Jim, produced 3 charting singles, including Time in a Bottle, which reached #1 after Croce died. The follow-up album, Life and Times, included the song Bad Bad Leroy Brown, Croce's only #1 hit during his lifetime. This is interesting. I can't help but flashing back to some of the classical composers who were not perhaps terribly well known in their lifetime, or at least only locally known, and then it was sometimes decades or longer afterwards when their work was revived and suddenly appreciated. Would you believe one of those was Johann Sebastian Bach? Anyway, I digress. On September 20, 1973, Croce, Mulhausen, and 4 others died in a plane crash. Okay, so that was just a year later. One day before the release of the lead single from Croce's 5th album, I Got a Name, during a period of significant commercial success. Croce wrote the lyrics of Time in a Bottle after his wife Ingrid told him she was pregnant in December 1970. Time in a Bottle was the 3rd posthumous Billboard #1 hit after Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding and Me and Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin. Oh, okay. Well, I have listened to Me and Bobby McGee. I don't think I've heard Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay. Well, I'm feeling extra eager this morning to listen to this piece, first of all, because it's an artist that I've never listened to before. I'm intrigued by the title, Time in a Bottle, and the fact that he was a folk and rock singer-songwriter. I have enjoyed many of those along the way, so I'm hoping this is another one. Let's listen. Wait.
If I could save time.
Okay. I need to hear this again. Wait a minute. Something about that. Oh, I need to go back and listen. Because I haven't listened in the past several weeks. But this opening reminds me so much of the Beatles song that starts, "Someday you'll find that I have gone. But tomorrow, I'll follow the sun. I'll follow the sun." It sounds like that. Even the descending line makes me think of "I'll follow the sun." And as soon as it started playing, that is where it took me. Well, I'm sure that is, a fairly common, probably, pattern and musical setup for this type of music. But just with my listening experience, that was the immediate first link I made. And now I feel this great urge to go back and listen to "I'll Follow the Sun" and figure out really how identical they are, how similar they are, or perhaps it's just a more of an aesthetic similarity on the surface.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do is to save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you. If I could make days last forever, if words could make wishes come true, I'd save every day like a treasure, and then again I would spend them with you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I've looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time with.
Okay. It's mesmerizing. It is so beautiful. And the way the instrumental accompaniment just weaves this beautiful, beautiful surrounding texture through which the voice can thread its line. And the thing that that really captures me in this first part of the song, if I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do, you know that I very often notice melodic details. It's just where my ears go. And one of the things that stood out to me is that while the guitar accompaniment has that bass line that is moving downwards, and all the texture and filigree of it, then the melodic line for the verse is quite static. It's not monotone, but it's as if it's suspended and being kept in one place. And you hear it deviate somewhat, right? Because that's the way that it responds to the harmonic progressions. But overall, if I listen and think overall, what is the character? What is the feeling I get, and how do I get it? How does it come to me when I listen to this? It's because that melody of the verse doesn't go anywhere. It stays. It's as if it's, as I said, suspended, held in one place, as if it is the embodiment of this idea of saving time in a bottle. If I could just get time to stop, if I could just capture it and hold it here and not let it go, if I could suspend time, if I could preserve time. Okay, I know I haven't gone all the way through the piece, but I want to go back to the beginning of the verse here.
If I could save time in a bottle,
you see, it's just staying on.
the first thing that I'd like to do,
still on that note there,
is to save every day till eternity passes away.
Same note at the end.
Them with you.
So even when the voice is traveling down or up or sitting, the second line, the first thing that I'd like to do starts a note lower, on a lower pitch. Still, even those parts of the verse, they all finish on that same pitch. No, what is that anyway? That's A. If I could save time in a bottle, da 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 da.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do.
So when it goes, first thing that I'd like to do. So it's starting a note lower on G, the first thing that I'd like, and then it walks up, I'd like to do, but still, it ends on do that A. That's one of the ways in which he creates this magical image of catching time and holding it, packing it in a bottle.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do,
same note,
is to save every day till eternity passes away.
There's the note
just to
again.
spend them with you.
With you.
If I could make
And here,
days last for
I love the decision he made to not go to the chorus, the refrain at that point. He didn't. Instead, he went to another verse. And it reinforces, it emphasizes, it highlights, it strengthens this idea that I am yearning for this power, this ability to save time in a bottle. And the fact that the next verse, it's the same musical technique of just keeping everything not only centered around one note, but basically living on that note. And when we deviate, we always return to that note. That can have various kinds of effects, but in this case, the way it's set and how he uses it makes it be, as I said, the manifestation, the embodiment of saving time, catching time, suspending it, and keeping it there, not letting it move or get away.
and them with you.
So we end up
If I
dwelling
make days
on
last
this idea,
forever,
in this dream.
if words could make wishes come true, I'd say
And I like the way the guitar,
like a treasure, and then again I would spend them with you.
only
There never
then.
seems to be enough time to do the things you want to to do once you find them.
Find them. Leans into that.
I've looked around enough to know that you're the one I want to go through time with.
And this is about where I stopped the first time, and I had to go back. So the refrain or the chorus, it is the place where we start feeling a sort of rise and fall, a traveling up and down, a sort of melodic momentum. But there never seems enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I've looked around enough to know that you're the one I want to go through time with. And we're traveling up and down. There's and so that not only creates a musical shape contrast with the melody, which, okay, it's a good thing to do because just aesthetically it makes sense and it helps balance a piece of music. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it's a very wise decision. But beyond that, this is doing more than just being a wise structural architectural decision. This, if you pay attention to which parts of this song are expressing which ideas, this part of the song is more active. There never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do. So it's the idea of time is always moving and we're always active, busy. Once you find them, I've looked around enough to know that you're the one I want to go through time with. But again, it's the idea of you're the one I want to go through. It's going through time. And so this is so beautifully coordinated with the ideas expressed in the lyrics. That's one of the things that makes it so incredibly magical and exquisite. Okay.
When I want to go through time with.
I like the little ding ding harpsichord-y style sound there. Now we get to hear this bass line again. Like that little trill.
I had a box just for wishes.
Ooh, I like the way that the
come true.
bass line is now taken way up
Be
here.
empty except for the memory of how
Almost like a desk cat.
answered by you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I've looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time with.
Ooh! What a chord to end on. Oh, that's great. I gotta back up and hear that again.
Memory of how they were answered by you. But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I've looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time with.
There goes the minor. It's some form of D minor 9, and actually, I didn't mention this yet, but the other thing that this song does as a contrast is, although it's not so important, but still, each part of this contributes to the overall mood. The verse is set in a minor key. And so you hear, if I could hear, and as we're sitting on this A so much, we're still hearing a lot of minor tonality underneath. It's one of the things that gives it the wistfulness and the yearning. But then when it gets more movement directed, motion focused, and a little bit more dynamic in the refrain, then that actually is where it's shifting to a D major. Da, 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 da. And so we have this major minor contrast between verse and refrain as well. But it ends after all of that. On this rather complicated D minor chord. Complicated because it has more than just the three primary notes for it. And it gives me this feeling of dissonance, I mean, it's not an unpleasant dissonance, but the way he strums it there. Dum dum ba dee 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 dum da 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 da. Yeah. It's the same sort of feeling, dissonance feeling, or at least similar to a suspended chord, but not quite so open. It's a little bit warmer, a little bit more complex, because but it leaves me feeling like somehow this tension, this idea isn't resolved. It's this ongoing tension. I have chosen to go through time with you, and I want to go through time with you. But the one thing that I wish I could do is capture every moment and save it, and keep it, and there's this beautiful expression of the treasure it is to spend each day and each moment with someone you love. It's an incredibly beautiful and special song. And before I the other thing that I just briefly commented on is that harpsichord. I don't know if it's harpsichord, but harpsichord-y sounding instrument, and to me it sounds like harpsichord. Which in the last half of the piece, as it was playing, I mentioned that it is doubling the bass line. It's taken that descending bass line, which I noticed right away at the beginning, and turned it into a treble feature. And you hear it way up high in this harpsichord bell-like range, and it's the same descending line, and you can hear how the bass line and that high treble line are working in unison, in tandem. However, it doesn't repeat it verbatim. Sometimes it leaves a note out. Sometimes it adds something in. And so rather than just being a kind of a dull doubling, it becomes its own special way of outlining the top edge of it and giving it this extra magical feeling. And I mean, the whole piece, I think, is utterly beautiful. But as you can see, this song really appeals to me and attracts me, and it's one of those folk style songs which are just magical. That's the word I keep returning to. It's magical, and I'm sure I'll be listening to this many times in the future for my own pleasure and enjoyment. Thank you to all who voted for this. Thank you to everyone who voted, and I am really looking forward to what you choose for me next week. I'll see you then.